welcome to Living Healthy, Living Well podcast. My name is Madhavi. I'm your host, and I am the Chief Motivating Officer for Prana Health Yoga and Wellness. Today, I wanted to share with you about something that manifested just a few weeks ago in my life practice, starting here in this office particularly. The other day, I asked my husband to come down here to come and get something for me. I don't remember what it was. It doesn't matter. My bookshelf was full of books. Not a single book would fit in. They were so tight in there. I had literally towers of books throughout the office, towers of papers and files. The view that you all see is the clean view. The view behind the screen was a disaster. And that was my own organization in my own head. I had a things to do list. I had towers of books, books that I want to read, books that I've already read, books that I don't know what to do with anymore, like my reference books from yoga, health and wellness coaching, my board certification studies, papers, files, just things that, okay, I'm going to get to it. In the last few months, since I've had some health changes, I have started to kind of let things go. I used to be very organized, on top of things, and I just started letting things go, saying, let me do what's important. Let me just work on my own personal health and wellness, which I have been. When my husband came down to get something, he came back up, he found the item, and he told me, he goes, oh my gosh, that tower of books that you had there on top of the box fell over and almost killed me. I was like, what? He said, it almost killed me. Now, side note, my husband is not dramatic. So I was like, whew, it might have really almost hurt him, right? So I came down here later on that day and looked around and started to assess the area. I was like, you know what? Things have gotten out of control in this office. I need to get more organized. I need to let things go. I had so many books and papers and files, I told you, right? So I started going through all the stuff, going through the books, making piles of books that I want to keep, books that I want to give away, books that maybe I want to read again. So started that again. And as I started doing it, obviously, once you start taking action, the motivation starts building. I started getting more motivated to continue. So I ended up purging my entire office, files, notes, books, stuff, everything. I gave away 6 boxes of books. Well, this also includes, I started cleaning out my husband's office too, the bookshelves. 6 boxes of books to the VA. They came and picked them up happily. A lot of reference books, good books, hardcover books, something that somebody else could use because they were literally collecting dust on my shelf. I gave books to my yoga students. Like I have a yoga library. I said, take some books, these novels, read them, but don't return them to my yoga library. Give them to someone else that would like to read. Slowly just sharing the books rather than keeping them here and allowing them to collect dust. Why not share them with someone else who can read them and enjoy them as well? And then I still had some books. I took those to the library, the local library. So funny side story. Went to the local library to donate the books. So I walked in. I said, let me go ahead and renew my library card. It hasn't been working since pre-COVID. So I said, you know what? Rather than continuing to buy books, let me start to borrow books. We can borrow books on audio. We can borrow books on Kindle. We can borrow physical books. I was like, why don't I just do that? So I went in there, went through the card catalog, and found some books that I really liked. And this is the interesting story of the side story. When I went to check out my books, the checkout screen literally told me how much money I saved from not buying the books and borrowing them instead. It said that I saved $71 and some cents from borrowing 4 books. That was an eye-opener. So one thing that was an eye-opener was I was letting energy go, and money is energy each time I buy a book. And it's okay. If you collect books, that's great. And I was collecting books, but it was getting a little out of hand. And I was like, oh my goodness, how much money am I spending on all these books, including my audio books, my Kindle books? I could just borrow them if it's available. If it's not available, if it's new, I will buy it. I still like the touch and feel of real books. I like to have my own books. There's some books, again, that I like to keep. So that was a side note. how much money I've been spending on all these books, and not only spending the money, just keeping them on the shelves, allowing them to collect dust. So when we have these physical pieces of material sitting in our home, and I'm just using books as an example and paper and files, it is holding energy. And when we have too many things in our home or in our spaces where we're working, where we are trying to think, where we're trying to be creative, our decision skills, our decision energy, it starts to go down. Because a cluttered space, a cluttered environment is a cluttered mind. When our mind is cluttered, we're not able to make decisions. We start to feel heavy mentally. We also will start to feel heavy physically in our body. We just don't feel like we're able to make any decisions. And then we start to self-doubt. Our self-esteem starts to go lower. We even start to have some self-confidence issues. And these are things that were happening to me. I was having self-confidence issues. My self-esteem was going down. I was like having trouble making decisions. But here's the thing. This is not just something that happened recently. These things, self-esteem, self-confidence, decision making, trouble, has been happening for a long, long time. It's been slowly creeping up. All these things in my mind have been packed down in my subconscious mind for so long. They're slowly bubbling up, but they're not bubbling up in a way where I can decipher what is happening here, what am I trying to do? So I started feeling stuck. So the connection here is once I started to purge my office and my husband's office, side note, once we started cleaning out the things we no longer need, like we literally don't need them, let somebody else have them or destroy them if it's something that we can't just throw away. Once we did that, we started to feel the energy in the home, the energy in our offices was a lot lighter. I've been starting to make better decisions. I'm able to create my yoga classes with ease. For a while, there was times, as many yoga classes that I've been teaching for the last 10 years, you would think that I could be able to teach a class, but there were some times, especially with Kundalini Yoga, I just didn't know what to teach. What is it that I want to do? I've been able to be creative again just by cleaning out one space of my house. So the manifestation of all this materialistic goods that we keep in our home, yes, we have attachment to it, but it's also hoarding our personal energy. And like I said, when it came to self-esteem, self-confidence, decision making, I was like, what's happening to me? I started feeling stuck in my body and myself and starting to have self-doubt. Sometimes even just hanging out at home, not even leaving the home. I was like, what's going on? Don't feel like going to, social events. Don't feel like doing anything. Not even go to the grocery store. So in the last few months, this started to really manifest more and more in my body and my mind because I've made a lifestyle change with my health changes. All is well now. I got myself into this rut. And just by taking some time to purge one small area in my home, I've already seen a tremendous difference. Already seen a tremendous difference. Now I get it. Most of us don't like to do this. Organization, a lot of us don't like to do it. I love doing it. I love organizing. But in the last few months, I just let myself go. And I felt it. I felt that energy draining from my body and me. And now it makes more sense why my self-esteem was going down, why my self-doubt was going up, and why my self-confidence down. Just by changing a few things in my environment was the first small step that I needed to take. And like I always talk about, habit changes. If we want to make a habit change, we just need to take one tiny step. You don't need to do all or nothing. Just take one tiny step. That's all you need to do. And for me, it was that one tiny step was to take action. Take action today And when you take one small action, the motivation comes. Motivation doesn't just come. We don't just randomly get motivation. Motivation comes from taking action. So, me taking action and starting to clear out my office so that my poor husband won't get killed with a mountain of books. That's how it all started. By taking one small action, by taking one book and looking at it, do I really need this book? Do I need to give it away? Do I need to, donate it or share it? And in my case, it was books, files, and papers, right? The best part of all of it, I ended up getting organized with all my notes for yoga classes, all my notes for health and wellness coaching. I'm so much more organized. Now I can go to my notebook and see, what am I going to teach today? What playlist am I going to play? I'm more organized that way in my teaching. Now I got to get organized on my business practice. How do I do all that? The same thing, it's all digital, but I can file it away and put it in certain orders. Just clearing up the digital part. It's all just going to get all jumbled up in here if we don't take care of our physical environment. Many of us don't realize that. And not only mentally, it can be draining, it can be physically dangerous if you have things lying around that you can trip over or fall on top of you. So that's what I wanted to just share with you all today with that story. How I connected purging a small area of my home. And when I did that, how it made me feel lighter and brighter. I'm so much happier now because I can actually find things and not feel stressed right before I teach a class or coach a client. I'm much more grounded, and I'm definitely happier because I have a husband that's not going to get hurt. But anyway, that's all I have for now. If you'd like to learn more about my yoga classes, please connect with me. You can send me a message, look at my website. All of them are in the notes. I would love to hear from you. We can do a 15-minute discovery call to see if you're the right fit for me for yoga or for a health and wellness coach. And if I'm the right fit for you, I like to talk to anyone who wants to take a yoga class or look into health and wellness coaching. We all need someone to be accountable to. Even I have a yoga coach. I have someone that I'm accountable to. We all need someone. We need someone to hold us accountable so that we will do the things that we know that we're supposed to do, we just don't do it. Until next time, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care, live healthy, and live well.